Hey guys, what's going on today? We have country rocker in the building, Rod Black, Canadian billboard artist here. Loves his cowboy hats going on. We got a song playing on in the background called Walk On. If you're tuning in later, thank you very much. You're tuning in now, what's going on, guys? We have an interview for you. July. We made it to July already. What's going on, Rod? Just playing a few seconds of your song. And we'll get Ron on board. What's going on, Andrea? Let's get him on board. You guys ready? Here we go. Loading. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna send you the request now, bud. What's going on, Creedster? Sylvina. What's going on, Andrea? Hello. Thanks, guys, very much for tuning in. Hey, what's up? How you doing? You working at the hospital today? Just waiting for Rob to join. What's up, Liz? Liz, what's going on? All right. I sent you the request, man. All right, let's see. Just waiting for Rod going. What's going on today, guys? Anything fun? The weather's been a little different. There he is.
No, bro.
Talking to myself here for a little while.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just.
What's happening?
Oh, I'm getting ready to do some video stuff, so that's why this is perfect timing. So I was multitasking here. How's the day going?
Nice. Got a nice fireplace behind you.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Can't complain.
So you're in Canada right now, or are you somewhere else?
Yeah, no, I'm in Canada right now. Obviously, with the COVID and stuff, I can't fly right now. I'm actually supposed to be in the U.S. I'm supposed to be in Nashville, but of course I had to cancel everything, and so now I'm just in the studio and preparing for the next single.
Yeah, I don't think you can't even drive over here, right? You can't go through the border right now.
No, they're it's really strict right now, which is
That's crazy.
Is a good thing, right? I mean, it's all about the health, staying healthy, and abiding by the rules. We got to do that. So
yes, follow the rules, everybody. Follow the rules.
It's just better to be safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the
So
main
tell
thing.
us a little bit about yourself, where you come from. I know your background's mixed with rock and country, and I feel a little blues going on too.
Yeah, I don't know, but the blues. Okay, so basically, I grew up in a rodeo family. Who's that from Canada? I saw Canada. I don't know if they're from Canada or if they're just doing the heart. So thank you very much.
Hey, Wendy, what's up?
Hey, Wendy. So my dad was an outrider for chuck wagon racing, and my whole family is in the rodeo circuit. There's barrel racers, obviously the chuck wagon racing. My dad would break horses. It was all full-on rodeo family that I grew up in. Okay. And I chose to do music, although my dad was a guitar player.
You guys traveled a lot then, right?
Yeah, well, I was young when it was happening, and then he retired when I started getting older. But basically what happened was I got to see, the life of, every 6 months, it seemed like we were moving. And I'm a gypsy, and it runs in the family. And so my dad was like that too. You know what I mean? I just love to travel, and music just kind of got me when I was really, really young, and I didn't really follow the rodeo circuit kind of thing that they probably wanted me to do, but music was what I wanted.
Music's probably a little easier than that, maybe.
Yeah, lots of less bumps and bruises. We just, as musicians, we got our bumps and bruises different ways.
So you need your wrists, you need your wrist to play.
The music business in general, a bit of bumps and bruises.
No. How you guys doing out there? Pretty good. We're tuning in here with Rob Black here. He's from Canada right now. Can't go through the border, but someday come back to the U.S. here, So you were going to a studio to record some new stuff?
Yeah, I'm working on the new EP right now. And we're talking about the U.S. I've just got off the phones with my friends in Texas. I used to live in Abilene. I was living in Dallas for a while. I've lived all over the US.
I remember that.
I've got a lot of American friends. So it's ironic that we were just talking about that, because everybody's like, when are you coming back? And I'm like, oh, as soon as they can let us.
Next year? Who knows?
Coming down. But yeah, no, yeah, just doing some studio stuff, working on the new single and a bunch of songs. And then obviously we don't know the release date just yet because of everything that's going
Yeah.
on.
So your latest song or latest video is called "Walk On."
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about that one.
Well, that song, it means a lot to me. Actually, a friend of mine was battling leukemia, and no, this is really strange how this even happened. I was writing this song originally, but it took a whole new kind of meaning for me and inspiration, I guess, if you could say that. And unfortunately, he passed, but he was a heck of a fighter. And I was just really inspired. And so every time I went to that song, it just kind of gave me a whole new approach on it. And then I brought it to my buddy Jeff and my producer that I work with, and we just penned it down and finished it, recorded it, and put it out. But yeah, it's just about believing in yourself when it gets really tough out there, and especially right now with what everybody's going through. It's a very relatable song.
Is it hard to look at the song and not to think of your friend? Because I had a friend like that. He passed away 4 years ago now, and every time I think of a certain gig or even the harmonica, love to play harmonica. I can't. That's like a second. It just comes right in your head, and you remember that. You can't forget it.
It's interesting you say that, because Jeff and I were talking about that, because I performed it. He was coming back. He was in Texas. He was in a hospital in Texas, and so we did kind of a party for him, a fundraiser, and we were at this venue, and we had everybody there, the family and friends and everybody. And I was like, man, can I do this song? Like, it's one thing to write the song, right? And it was obviously I was writing it about something different, but it took a kind of again different meaning. So now I'm up there going to perform this for him and his friends and family. And I'll admit, I had some tears, and but I did make it through the song. But it was hard. It was definitely hard. And this was obviously knowing he was battling. And then of course when I heard the song after he had passed, it gets a little bit more emotional even so after that.
Yeah. Takes a lot of strength and very bold too to do something like that. It's not easy. Not easy.
Yeah, well, as artists, we put our hearts on our sleeves, right?
Yeah, it's almost like it's so weird because everyone, I think, people that don't do music or don't act, they like their place, and for us, we always have to be out of place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And out there, and it's just sometimes it is weird, but how do you view like being a front man versus, have you ever played guitar or any other instruments like in a different band or anything, or?
Well, not as good as you. But no, I'm more of a songwriter, rhythm guy. I'll play a little bit on stage once in a while, but I've got a couple.
Have you wrote for other people?
Sorry, what?
Have you wrote for other people?
Yeah, I'm actually, I've done that actually. A song that I co-wrote was on the radio, I think it was a year and a half ago. So that was a really good feeling. Different because I'm not used to that. Usually when I'm in the studio or if I'm writing or whatever, it's for myself. Or I write, a song with my sister as a duet or something like that. But this was one of the first times where I got a call from the co-writer saying, hey, we got this country artist is going to pick up this song, going to the studio, and it'll be on radio next year. And so I was like, wow. And so the first time hearing it and remembering when we were in that writing session, and then now to going on the radio, and it's not my voice, which is the other thing too, is I was like, because they were like, are you going to do this song? And I'm like, no, I'll let him have it. You know what I mean? If he really likes the song. And so that was kind of cool. Now I'm getting more into that. Now I'm definitely writing for purpose for other artists and stuff like that too. So
branching out. You have to look at kind of like the whole history and the style and almost kind of, obviously you got to adapt to it. Yeah. But you look at, it's hard to say like where you are, you probably have to talk to them direct and stuff. But is that a little bit of a problem with writing? I've done guitar stuff, but I've never done lyric stuff with somebody else.
Yeah, it's a different thing. You know what I mean? Like right now, if we are aiming to write for a certain artist, then, it's usually an artist that we're very familiar with. You know what I mean? We know their the way they enunciate certain words, or if they phrase this, or the melodies and stuff like that. So that helps us. But a lot of times if I go into a writing circle, I'll know that, hey, okay, we're writing this for this type of country artist or this type of rock artist or whatever. So it all depends. Or sometimes if I go in a writing session and it's a bunch of songwriters that are also performers, we'll look at each other and go, okay, who wants this song? You know, so it all depends on the situation, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. I definitely. Who's some of your influences, country and rock?
Oh man. Okay. Well, I was just listening to Waylon for the last week. I've been listening to Waylon ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But Waylon Jennings has definitely been a big inspiration. You know, and I don't know if I told you about this. I was going to work with Terry Jennings. Terry Jennings and I became very, very good friends, and so I got to sit down in Waco and have a meeting with him and his son, and talk about you know, music and his dad. And that was a really cool experience, especially, you know, my dad. He's not around, but I grew up on the Jennings and the Willie Nelsons and the Cashes, of course, and then, you know, and then AC/DC. I mean, come on, you know, as soon as I heard the first AC/DC song, I was like, wow. And then I was like, okay, how do I mix both, still be respectful to the family and the rodeo and the countryside, but also, man, I really like this AC/DC.
But also throwing AC/DC.
Yeah. And then, of course, I got into Metallica and then Guns N' Roses and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So my influences are very wide ranged, we'll say. Definitely Tom Petty. Love Tom Petty. You know, and it's usually
Andrea's got Haggard. You like Haggard?
Oh, you know, I'll tell you a story about Haggard. Okay, so I was in California. I was in, that's another story. I was in Nashville, and I was at, though, I gotta remember where I was now. It was this radio station, it's the oldest state, one of the oldest stations in North America. And I was being interviewed, and I performed a song, and we started talking about, and he's like, well, guess who sat in that chair? And it was just before he had passed. And I was like, are you kidding me? So, yeah. So Haggard was, you know, there was this energy in this room. And he's like, yeah, Johnny sat in that chair. Waylon sat in that chair. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm in this like, wow. And I didn't really know very much about the history of the radio station. I knew it was an old one when I was going in, because I was on a radio tour, right? So, you know, a little bit about the station, but I didn't really dig deep. And then all of a sudden you could feel this energy. And it was, yeah. So I had to share that story.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with studios. When you walk in the studio and you're like, who's recorded here? And you're like,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And you feel that energy, right? And it makes you even want to just like, you know, give it just that extra percentage, right? Because you just know the grace of it. Yeah.
It almost seeps in you. It's like, I don't know what it is, you know? That's why people pay for studio time. That's the secret.
Yeah, true.
Pretty much get that energy going.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so.
Do you remember, you were in Nashville, do you remember Soundstage Studios? I think they redid it or tore it down on Music Row, maybe a couple years after 2010. That's when I was there.
Okay, Soundstage. I don't know. I think I might have. I went there with Jet Black Stare in 2008. We were on tour. We rolled through there. We played the Exit.
Yeah.
I fell in, and this is a crazy story. Anybody from Nashville that's watching will love this story. I roll in. We were on tour with Three Doors Down. I think it was Three Doors. I can't remember. I think it was Three Doors Down. That big summer tour. We were rolling through.
Yep.
It's my first time in Nashville, and of course, at the time, my dad was around, and so I'm calling him saying, Dad, I'm in Nashville. Like, this is crazy. Like, you know, and he's like, wow, that's awesome. He's like, well, you got to go check out this, and this. I'm like, yeah, well, that's the thing. As soon as the show's done, I got to get up in the morning, do an interview on the radio with Jet Black Stare, and then we're on the road again. Yeah. And I'm like, but there was something about the energy of that night. And a friend of mine, Kevin Neal, who came down, and his dad is Bob Neal, who passed, who used to Buddy Lee Attractions, who also managed Elvis in the beginning of his stages. He was telling me all the history in the green room of Nashville as much as he could, because he knew that I wasn't going to be able to go and explore. He goes, but next time you come back, you got to check this, and this out. And I'm like, all right. I was sold from that conversation, and in my head, I'm like, I'm coming back to Nashville. I don't care if I'm coming back to play. I don't come if I'm just coming back for a couple days off. So when Jet Black Stare had a week off, I was right in Nashville, and I was hanging out. I was in Hendersonville, and I was just fell in love with the place, and then I ended up living there. So, you know, what a very magical place.
It is. I haven't been there since 2011, but I think anybody gets it. You go there and you get that feeling. You know, I don't know what it is, but you're just like, stuff's happening here. You know, at the time they were filming the TV show Nashville too, so they were going around, and I go, oh, I remember that location from season 2 or whatever. So it was cool. I think that TV show really helped the area too.
Yeah, true.
To the mainstream, you know.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think you know, if you look at like Garth Brooks, I just watched. Have you seen his the movie or documentary slash kind of Netflix?
I
He
have.
was
It was
talking.
like 3 hours or something.
Yeah, it absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. Like that is
He
really
cries a
something.
lot, doesn't he?
He's what?
I think it is. He cries a lot, right?
Yeah, it was very emotional. You could tell his dad is a big part
Yeah.
of his journey. And
Yeah.
I could definitely relate because that was, you know, like my dad. You know, I wear the black cowboy hat and black ever since I was a kid, basically, right? Because my dad was always in black. He was cowboy hats and boots and everything. So you kind of, when you're a kid, and you kind of
Yeah.
you look up to your dad, you know. And I'm the only boy in the family. I grew up with all girls, so you know, you kind of want to keep that legend alive, so to speak. And so when he passed, it was very emotional for me
Yeah.
to go out there and talk about my dad and all that kind of stuff. So definitely watching that documentary and seeing the emotion in his eyes, very, very, very relatable subject for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you what kind of sticks do you use for acoustic, or do you play electric a lot more? Or I see you playing acoustic a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a. I mean, I've got a Fender right now, a couple Fenders and a couple things like that. But yeah, it's more for songwriting. Like my dad, like back to my
Yeah.
dad, he was a really good guitar player and songwriter. But again, he was in the circuit rodeo thing, so
What
that
kind of
took all
guitar
his
he
time.
have?
He had 72. Oh, okay, you're gonna like this story, man. The craziest
Is it a
stories.
Gibson?
Yeah, 72. He had a 72 Les Paul, and he gave it to me as a
Nice.
gift. And I
Wow.
was about 9 or 10. I'll never forget this. And he gave it to me, and he was so proud because he had guitars and amps all over the basement. And I would just watch him, right? I was just so amazed by it. And he'd get me all these instruments and say, you know, you're gonna have to learn an instrument if you want to be an entertainer. And you know, and I said, yeah, you know, I just want to be a singer because I've been singing since I was 6 years old. Like I was in front of a Christmas play. So me, I just wanted to be a performer. I didn't really think about the actual
Yeah.
instrument aspect of it. So he gives me this guitar. I know nothing about this guitar. I just know that it's black. It looks great. And my friend is over and he's talking about that he wants to get guitar lessons and all that kind of stuff. I said, well, I could talk to my dad. He could probably help you out. And he's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, I'd like to do that. I'm like, okay, cool. And he goes, that's a really nice guitar. I said, yeah, my dad just gave it to me. And I said, but I don't really care to play guitar. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, he somehow convinced me, you won't believe this. It was video games. Like, I can't even remember what the heck, some brand new, I don't know, some whatever heck video game it was, but some brand new video game, something like that he got as a gift from his grandma. And he wanted to get guitar lessons. So, and I said, well, obviously I wasn't going to give my allowance or anything. And I didn't know he wanted the guitar. I thought he just wanted guitar lessons. Somehow, throughout that day, I end up getting the video game stuff. Proud to show my dad that I said, hey, Dad, sorry, that guitar that you gave me, didn't really want to do that, but I got this. The look on my dad's face was priceless because he didn't know.
Did you trade it?
Yep.
Oh man.
72 Les
Oh.
Paul. For
Oh,
real.
your friend's lucky now.
Oh, if he still, if he still has it. I mean, the thing of it is, I imagine
He
he would.
knew it. He
I
knew it,
imagine
man.
he would. But none of us, we were kids, right? No one knew the value, right? And
Yeah.
it was just like, and my dad had guitars all over the place. Like, so I was like, I'll just get another one if, you know, my dad gets mad, whatever, right? Because you're a kid, you know. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
my,
you can't get those every day.
anytime someone brings up a Gibson or Les Paul or anything like that, I have to tell
Man,
them that story. And right away, they're like, oh, what? Like, really? Like, yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I
that
think
thing's
the
stupid.
oldest guitar I owned was it was an Ovation Electric. They used to make electric guitars, and it
I
was a
had an Ovation.
77,
Yeah.
the Preacher, and I
Yeah.
really liked that. But I sold that I think 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
acoustic, I like to use Ovations a lot. I've got
Yeah.
a couple of them, but they're more for like for the rock style. I like plugging them in, and they have a heavier tone.
Yeah.
For the acoustic, like if I played acoustic, quote unquote, you know, that style, they're not that great for that style. They're not big and open
Yeah.
but when you're just hammering on the thing, they're great.
We used a Preacher in the studio on a couple songs. I've never, like, and tell you, this would be the second time I've heard about it now. Because they pulled up the guitar and I said, what is that? They said, well, that's a Ovation. I said, Ovation makes electric guitars? And they're like, you got to hear
Yeah.
this thing. and then we plugged it into it was a Fender DeVille, and it was the combination was absolutely
Did
crazy.
it have the stereo jack underneath? Mine had both.
I can't remember. I just remember it was an Ovation that caught me off guard in itself. So
Yeah, you're like, that's an electric? Mine looked like it was red. It was kind of like an SG version. I was like, but it was so weird.
yeah,
So weird.
yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Who
They're
do we
cool
got
though.
coming in here? Is that a C? I can't. It's hard to
Something,
see.
something Daughtry. That's a little inside joke.
Oh, is it?
What's
Okay,
going
okay.
on?
That's awesome.
Hey, what's going on? Any questions for Rod? Feel free to put them in the chat here. He's got a YouTube channel, Instagram. Make sure you follow him on the old Instagram here.
Yes.
Your music's on iTunes and all those good places too. And so you've been on the Canadian charts.
Yeah. Canadian was back in 2014-15. Had number 20 on the billboards for Keeping On. And then even spent some time on the U.S. charts with Jet Black Stare. So that was, so I've got to be on both sides, on both billboards. So that was
Nice.
very thankful for that opportunity.
Do you think the Canadian market is easier than the U.S. market to get into?
That's a great question. And you know what the answer is? And it might even shock you. It's way, way, way harder. Way harder. And I'll tell you why. Because we don't have the stations. We only have 30 some country stations, right? So what happens is now you got Warner, you got Sony, you've got everybody. And then of course the label I'm on, Sony's our distribution Orchard. And then we've got, it's an independent record company. So there's a couple of big ones like that in Canada, but for most it's like Warner and all that kind of stuff in Universal. So it makes it harder as an artist to get on down there or up here. But now down the States, obviously you have more people. So to get on there, I mean, obviously it's harder, but I'm talking about like for population, right? Obviously, right? If you take the population of Canada and the US, which is
US has a lot of country stations,
Yeah.
But
Right.
I tell you though, the advantage is all I need to do is get on 30, instead of, I don't know, 300-400 or something like that,
Yeah,
But
and you guys,
you said they got their hands in it,
Yeah, and you also have different tracking going on in Texas, right? And then of course you've got your Music Row, and that we don't have that, right? We only have the one country billboards, and that's it. You guys have various ones down there, right? So that the opportunity is a lot easier, even though there's a way more country artists in general. We're just, however you want to explain it, we're just limited on stations.
Yeah. Where's some of your rock influences, like besides AC/DC? It's got to be somebody else. Metallica. I could, like grunge-wise. You said you like grunge.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just Nirvana, love Nirvana. I watched the Post Malone tribute thing. That was absolutely mind blowing. Have you watched that?
Yeah.
Anybody watching?
No, but I watched the vintage interview with Kurt, and this was like one of the ones before he died, and it was really interesting. They egg him on purpose. I don't know why they did that. I was like, I've never really seen them purposely do it.
To get under his, is that Sylvia? Hey, Sylvia. To get under his skin.
She's from Canada.
Is she? Nice.
Yep.
Sending love to, I don't know whereabouts in Canada.
What's going on today, folks? What's going on in your world?
But anybody who's a Nirvana fan out there, because if you haven't seen the Post Malone, do yourself a favor. The Post Malone tribute to Nirvana is absolutely mind-blowing.
Really good?
It's incredible. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It caught me right off guard. I mean, it gave me chills. It felt like Kurt was kind of in that room, and it was, you got Travis Barker on drums. Enough said there, right? So, it was absolutely. Do yourself a favor. If you have not seen this, then definitely go and check it out. Post Malone does Nirvana. It's incredible. But back to the influences. I love Aerosmith. Steven Tyler to me is probably, I don't want to say underrated because it's Steven Tyler, but for a vocalist, just as an individual, I don't know if he gets enough credit for his voice. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But as a band, obviously everybody, but Steven Tyler is just absolutely incredible. As
a band, I see Aerosmith being well, I don't want to say bigger than he is, but you're
Yeah.
right, because he does have a huge range.
Oh,
You know, because you
as a
look at
vocalist.
those
Yeah,
first
as a
two records, he only sang
yeah,
here. He didn't
yeah,
get to that high one yet.
yeah. You know, I'll tell you a funny
Hmm.
story on the Jet Black Stare. We were just talking about it because we're going through the reunion conversations right now with Jet Black Stare. But anyway, we were talking about how it all kind of came to be in the studio. See, what happened was I was doing country rock. Jet Black Stare was a country rock band. And
Yeah.
this will tie into Steven Tyler. I promise everybody I'm not going to babble away here. So what happens is we have a friend that is signed. Jeff was signed to 604 Records, working with Chad. Chad was on the road with another best friend of ours, Gordini, who was working with doing Pro Tools for the Nickelback tours. So anyway, I'm writing these songs, are kind of country rock songs. I show Jeff the songs, and he's like, "Listen, I've got some time. You know, why don't we work on these songs? Let's go into the studio and cut these things professionally." And I'm like, "All right, let's go do it." So we're recording and everything. Gordini comes off the road. He's got a couple days off, and he's got a brand new mic endorsement by CAD mics. You're familiar with CAD, right? Phenomenal. But remember when they first came out?
I'm endorsed by them too. They're great
Yeah.
company.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. So Gordy goes, "Okay, so I got this brand new mic. I want to try out." And I'm like, "All right." So he goes, "Okay, so oh, nice." He goes, "Go, you know, go warm up your voice and test it. I'm just gonna work on it here in the control room." I'm like, "All right," and I'm kind of, you know, stretching out, doing all that kind of stuff, right, and getting ready to sing. He's like, "Okay," so he goes, "What I need from you is just give me different ranges, right? Just give me whatever, right? You know, and don't your lows, your
A
highs,
little
whatever."
sample.
So I joke around. I said, "I'm going to pretend to be Steven Tyler." And he goes, "Yeah, all right." Okay, good. So I start doing these crazy, you know, high squealing, raspy thing. He's like, comes into the room and he's like, "When did you sing like that?" I said, "Well, I don't know. You're asking me to do all this stuff." He only knew
Right
me as
now.
this country rock singer. And so he's
Yeah.
like, "Tell me you can sing like that night after night." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I don't do this night after night. I'm just trying to show you, I guess, range or whatever, right? You asked me to show you range on this mic." Anyway, so if you listen to my older stuff and to when Jet Black Stare came, that's where the formation of the voice for Jet Black Stare really was formed, was because of me just joking around saying, "I want to pretend to be Steven Tyler to give you that range."
And
So
just
if you
try
listen
it.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. And so if you listen to the song Fly and then you listen to Ready to Roll, it sounds like two different bands. Because Fly and The Slide for the ones that got me the deal with Island, which were a little bit more tame. And then as the album started progressing and we started, you know, bringing out the heavy artillery, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
it demanded higher vocals and a little bit more intensity. And so every time I listen to a Jet Black Stare song, I'm like, wow, because I never sang like that before 2007. So it's pretty interesting. So I always think about Steven Tyler and Aerosmith and stuff like that, and that really influenced me personally
Just as
as
the
a
random
vocalist.
example to be like, boom.
Yeah, that's how it was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's where the range I was just pretending, and it kind of.
What are you going for your new EP? Is it this along the same lines as like the last two music videos you released, or is it something a little different? I actually get if this makes sense, a country Hinder vibe from the music.
That's funny. I was just talking to the guys from Hinder. Because they're doing country stuff too. They're Cody and them are writing for other artists.
The hippies, yeah, dangerous hippies there.
Oh, they're great. Oh man, that's a great group.
I've been trying to get them on the show here.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Those guys they're easygoing guys. They're really nice guys. But back to the question. That's a great one because Jeff and I are in the studio, and we just write like crazy. We wrote 5 songs in one night. It was nuts. It was just incredible what happened. But we were talking about the direction of the EP. Like if you listen to you know, like Keeping On and Walk On and, you know, Miles to Go, and if anybody hasn't heard, go to our Spotify, go check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's the message, right, of, you know, believe in yourself, times are tough. That's just something I had in myself. Even with Jet Black Stare, there was still that message. Even though songs were heavy, there was still that message of, you know, believing in yourself. So I said, I don't want to get away from that because that's who I am. And Jeff agreed with that. He said, I agree. But I also wanted to show a real fun side to me as well. Because believe it or not, I'm a fun guy. No, but you know what I mean? Like I'm always, when I'm on stage, You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If I bring out a song that's a kind of a drinking song, kind of catches people off guard a little bit because they're like, wow, because there's always these messages that I have, so to speak. So we've
Yeah.
got a couple songs that we're really excited about, and they're just straight up being at the lake, partying, all that kind of stuff. And then, obviously the ones about the times that we're in right now. And, so there's still
Yep.
those
A little
subjects
more upbeat too,
that
kind
are
of like an
positive,
upbeat.
right? No, yeah. Oh, a lot of upbeat ones coming. Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Yeah,
I like the
definitely.
fast
But,
stuff.
but still, like, a positive. Sorry, what? You what?
I like the fast stuff.
Yeah, no, I do too. I do too, and it's great when when you're watching people dancing and singing to the songs. It's absolutely amazing. But it's also nice
Yeah.
to hear a couple come up to you and say, "Hey, you know what?" And you saw them dancing, and they're asking about that song, or somebody that's going through not only emotional breakup, but maybe something again, a loss of a friend or somebody that's in a hospital. So when
Yeah.
they come to a show, they get the roller coaster of a show. It's not just straight
Yeah.
party, party, party. And there's nothing wrong with that. I got a lot of country friends that do that and do that very well. Where it's just like a straight party right from the get-go. Ours is it's
Yeah.
a party, but it's also everybody feels like they can relate. There's something for
Yeah.
everybody. And
Well, it shows
that's
you're gonna
really
be more
important.
versatile and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of just the same thing over and over again. And
Yep, I
like
agree.
you were saying, it's always like if somebody used the song for a wedding, you
Yeah,
kind of want to make one of those songs. You kind of want to play it live, or you know, people that don't perform. It's a totally different experience out there. Like if you play acoustic in front of 25 people and you're playing slower stuff,
Seamus.
say cafe style, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Completely different
yeah,
experience to being on stage to doing those same songs, even in front of an audience. Totally different
true.
experience. Same songs, same tempo, all that kind of stuff. Do you realize that? It's like I can't explain it, but it comes alive easier
Hmm. Yeah,
with the audience
yeah,
there.
yeah. And and the one thing too is I've always try to make sure that the band knew that okay, we're gonna play the songs, right? Because a lot of times it's hired guys that come in, right? And sometimes it all
Yeah.
depends. Because everybody plays in different bands, right? So which is great. So you get some of the best musicians
It's a
around, which
revolving
is
door.
sorry what?
It's a revolving door.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the guys who just brought on Seamus, he's worked with me many, many times. An incredibly talented guy. But
What's going on?
back to the show is I want everybody, not only in the audience, to have a good time, but I want the band to have a good time too. So I want to make sure that the drummer does his thing, the guitarist goes and shows his licks, and it's has a solo section. I even walk off stage and let the guys jam, not let the guys, but
Yeah.
have them, because I think it's important that everybody's involved in the show, and it's not me up there singing my songs, right?
Yeah.
That's for me.
Yeah, it's
That
not
doesn't work for
straightforward.
me.
You have other things you throw in there. That's what makes it great. I've always said that. I go, a lot of the bands are starting
My
out and
battery,
stuff. I go, oop,
my
you still
battery's
there?
getting, the battery's getting
Oh,
low. I
okay.
apologize here. The phone might cut out in
Oh,
about
that's all right.
a couple of minutes here.
But
But
the
yeah,
the
but yeah,
variety is great.
yeah, definitely. And it's very important because if someone comes to a show, they might not be just coming to to listen to that song. They might want say, yeah, I want to hear that song, but they also want to see, how does the band play this song. Do they play the
Yeah.
same version of the recording, or does it, and then they walk away with a different experience, right? Or a song that maybe they heard and they're like, yeah, it's not really my thing, and they come out of it, they're like got tears in their eyes and like, wow, okay, I might
Yeah.
not be related to that, what happened to that, say if it's about a loss of life and someone hasn't gone through that. But now as we get older, more people are obviously, it's a relatable subject. As we get older, that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting
Yeah.
at is that they might walk away with a whole different experience. And that might now be their favorite song. Where that song about partying and drinking and whatever, it was great.
Yeah.
But now this song, they really gravitated to that. And so that's really
Yeah, it
important.
really meant something to them. Yep.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
that's
ever
my
do you ever what are your feeling is if they say, geez, you're even better live. I love the live stuff. Like I don't view it as a diss to the recordings. I view it as they had a good time, or something like that.
Yeah,
You think
that's
that?
funny. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I get that when people come up to me, and what I get out of that is, at first when I was younger, I was kind of like, oh, okay, did I not sing well on the recording? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why did I?
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm talking about. So what happens is you go into, a lot of people are aware of this. Sometimes when you're writing a song, you're writing it, and then you're in the studio, so you're kind of making the song up as you go. So you haven't had
Yeah.
time on stage with that song. You've just been in the
Yep.
studio with the producer. Now you got to go on tour, and the band's got to learn the song, and you actually got to learn the song too, with the band. And it is a
Yeah.
different kind of energy. And so, so those first couple shows are kind of just like dusting off the cobwebs, so to speak, right? But I
Yep.
definitely take it as a compliment because it shows that I'm putting, what I believe my 100% in every show. Good day, bad day. I'm out there. If someone paid $5 or got in free, it doesn't matter. I perform the same way. I just want to give them my all, and when they say that, that makes me feel really good. But as a Capricorn, as a driven individual, just like yourself, being driven, is that you're like, wow, okay, I can't wait to go back in the studio again and cut another song because now my vocals have, I learned this thing about myself or whatever, right? And so
It's a progression thing. It's
yeah, for sure.
I don't know what it is. To me, it's like an eternal battle. You always want to go back and do another one and do it better, and then do another one and like open it up and try
Yeah,
something different. And it's like you're satisfied, but you're never really satisfied.
you're gonna
So
have to
weird.
I gotta go and plug the phone in here. I don't want it because we're having a great conversation here. So I'm just gonna walk over here and charge this thing.
There you go. Just giving us a tour.
Yeah. I'm just
Anybody with questions here, feel free, put them in the chat. Rod is on Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you follow him here on Instagram. Chatting about his music, his live experiences. I think you got the camera opposite way.
Yeah, no, I just did that because I gotta plug this. Okay, are you there? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
still
know if
there?
yeah, it's not gonna let me do it,
All right.
brother. Yeah, it's
All
because
right.
when
Well,
you charge
we
it,
can wrap this up here in a few minutes.
yeah,
It's all right.
No worries. I appreciate you taking the time. It means a lot.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've kept in touch for the past almost 10, I think 10 years or something like that. Pretty long. I think it was through maybe like Radio Ugly or something you were on, and I found out about you that way. It was like an old radio station I was a part of. Something like that. I can't remember exactly how, but somebody
Yeah, no, we've
teamed us
known
up.
each other for a while. I've been watching your career grow, so it's amazing. It's very cool. And that's
Thanks,
why I
man.
was trying to charge this thing because I wanted to ask you about what you were working on. But I'm just hoping that the thing doesn't. Just tell me what you're working on real quick here, because I'm sure the audience would like to hear. And if my
Yeah, I got yeah, man. I have the new music video out right now. It's called Gone Mad, and the new EP, Bring On the Fear. So that just released, and I'm working on a new single sometime. I'm kind of spacey with my EPs. I kind of do an EP, and I'll do a single or two or whatever, and then another EP. I tell everybody that I won't do a full album really because like when people listen to it or you're pitching it to radio, there's only those couple songs that they'll take anyways.
yeah,
So
true.
I'm like, let's do an EP every time. We'll make a double EP CD every time two comes out, and do that. So, but besides that, it's been, I've been producing, I've been mixing for other people, been tracking guitar, teach guitar lessons too now.
That's awesome.
I was doing a little acting, but that went out the window,
Yeah.
and it's tough. There's no work, there's no gigs, that's why I'm like, I put more in my home studio so that I can stay here and, work on projects and things. So if you ever need anything, I can layer something down for you.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's tough right now for everybody, not just artists, that's for sure, just people in general. My sisters and all that kind of stuff, and everybody, you just gotta adapt.
Unless it's a trade, or something like that, where they're working the whole time, it's tough.
Yeah, I can relate to what you're saying. The thing of it is you've got the tools, the studio, and you can do guitar lessons and stuff like that. So I can relate to that because a lot of my friends are in that position right now. I'm like, dude, you should be giving guitar lessons. Oh, I never thought of that. I'm like, yeah, right now, because a lot of people are at home, right? and especially now with technology, you can be giving guitar lessons via Skype or whatever the case is, right? So, you know, you got mad talent. I've always known that about you. So it's very, very cool to hear all this stuff.
Thanks, man.
Myself, I am not on the mad talented guitar player by any means. So I do some acting.
Hey, just got to work at it. I tell my students, practice is key. That's all it is, practice, you know. If you want to put in a year's worth of 24 hours, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
it's a lot.
Yeah, I have mad respect, brother. That's incredible. Especially like right now, we have to, again, I cannot say this enough. We have to be very compassionate, obviously, but also adapt to what we're going through right now. And that's bringing out talents in individuals that they probably didn't even think they had, because they're like, oh,
yeah, it's from young kids. I have a few 8 years old, and I've taught them up to 60 years old, you know, and you just never know if they listen to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But also, I've got friends now that are messaging me saying, you know what, man, you know what, I don't know if I told you I used to paint when I was in high school. Check this out. And I'm like, this is absolutely incredible. Oh yeah, I thought I'd get back to it because I'm at home. A friend of mine, she's an incredible artist, and she was just showing me these pictures, and she's like, yeah, it's not the best one. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is absolutely amazing. You know, so again, that's what happens, right? We go through downfalls right now, and everybody adapts, and look what you're doing, you know, and myself just trying to keep busy, and you know, we're all going to get through this.
Yeah. Spend time with your families and everything out there. That's one thing that
goes without saying. Yeah,
I've heard from other musicians, and I'm surprised. They're like, we've never ever been home with our family for a month, and now we're talking 4 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? You know, it's a big deal. You know.
I usually come home around Christmas time. That, you know what I mean? That's kind of what, like I said, I was
holidays or birthday or something.
Yeah, or something like that, or a time off, get a couple weeks off here and there. But that's what I'm used to doing is, you know, like living the gypsy on the road kind of thing, just touring and stuff. But living on a bus, but can't do that right now. So you know, I'm living in the studio. So you know,
there you go. That's your next song right there.
Yeah, living in the studio. Yeah, there you go.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, other than that, but I want to say thank you to everybody. It's hard. I'm trying to see who's all. Is that Andrea? Yeah. I'm just trying to see.
She's from California.
Oh, nice. Very cool. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for taking the time. It means a lot.
I can't. Oh, she goes, bye, guys. Thanks for another awesome interview.
Wicked. And then, yeah, my phone is giving me the warning right now. But just want to say thank you again for taking the time, Frank. Really appreciate it, brother. And we'll talk soon.
No problem, man.
And
anytime. Come on, when you got your album and stuff out, we'll do it again.
Yeah, and get a hold of Cody and those guys, man. You got to get a Hinder on here, man. They've got some great stories, road stories, incredible guys. I'm still tight with all those guys, incredible musicians, and I'm so happy for the new projects they have as well. But yeah, get them on there. They'd love to be on here.
I took a listen. Yeah, I emailed. It was like their manager, or PR guy, or something got back to me. They're like, yeah, we're gonna ask the guys and see what's going on. So that'd be cool. They got a lot of stories, so that's what I like.
I'll talk to Cody. I'll be talking to Cody soon, so I'll bring it up.
Yeah, shoot him a message. Tell him it's real low key, you know, just.
Oh yeah, he'd love it.
Chatting.
He'd love it.
I think a bird just hit my window.
Oh no! Jeez.
I heard a big bam.
Oh man!
Crap.
I hope that bird's okay. All right, be safe, my friend. Lots of love.
You too, man. I appreciate it. Check out Rod's music. He's on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, all those good places. He's got the band. He's got the solo stuff. Little country, little rock and roll. All right, everybody tuning in later. If you want to tag us and write comments, we'll get back to you. I'm sure Rod will. Everybody will. Everybody. We'll get back to you. 6 months from now, say hello.
You got it. Thank you again for taking the time.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. See you guys, everybody, on the other platforms, Twitter and Twitch, everywhere. Thank you very much. And we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see you guys.
You too, man.